Today, I'm going to be discussing the 10 reasons why it's better to be single. And you have no idea how many women have tried to insult me in saying, well, if you were that great, you wouldn't be single. Well, you know what, girl? There's 10 reasons why I actually ultimately prefer to be single than tied up in some relationship and let alone be married. So that's what I'm going to get into in this video. All right. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification button because I'm dropping a video every day. Okay. Despite what a lot of women say and they think, like they really think, well, there must be something wrong with you if you're single, because if you were that high value of a man, you would be, locked up in a relationship. But yet, us guys, we know different. And that's what I'm going to get into these today. It's the 10 reasons why it's actually better to be single than be in any relationship. All right, so let's just get straight up into it. So, number one, the sex is better. And here's the sad reality. If you think the sex is going to get better by being in a long-term relationship or being married, you are absolutely wrong. The sex has always been amazing and way better. And I was married before, by the way, 20 years. And I've been single 2.5 years, and I've never had better sex ever than being single than in a marriage. The sex just started dying off quickly, like off a damn cliff. And here's the reality. Studies have shown that after 5 years into a marriage, a woman's desire for her husband literally drops off a cliff. And the women can't explain why. It's not about, well, I've had children. It's not about, oh, I've gained weight or financial stress or any of these factors. It's just they can't explain why, but their desire for their man after 4 years just is off a cliff. So just on that alone, sex is way better when you're single, and women also like to have sex. And there's a lot of women that are just like, hey, look, I just want to have fun. I want to escape from my situation and have a good time and have sex. And so that's number one. The sex is better when you're single. Number two is the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have anyone telling you otherwise. And this was a problem in my marriage where, like, I have some dangerous hobbies. And so my ex-wife would always get upset with me. Well, why are you doing this or why are you doing that? Well, when you're single, you do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to answer to anyone. So you have the freedom. If I want to take a trip and go somewhere, I don't have anyone telling me, well, it's going to be $1,000 to do that or whatever. That's what I mean. So that's number two, is the freedom to do what the fuck you want. Number three, you have no critics. I remember a time, and I couldn't believe this. I was in Simon's. I don't know if there's a Simon's in the United States. I'm originally from Canada. So we have this chain store. It's like a Nordstrom, kind of. So let's say it was a Nordstrom, Simon's. But so in the store, right, I'm looking at some dress shirts, and I see a guy come out from the change room, and he's all proud of the shirt that he's wearing. And it was just this very quick observation. It seems like that was his wife. So let's say she was his wife. His wife was standing outside, and she looks at him, and she's like, "Oh, it's too back. It's too back. It's too tight. Take it back." And he was like, his head went down slightly, like he was deflated. And then what's worse is the salesperson who got him the shirt sees them afterwards. He changes. He comes out of the change room, and she says, "So, what did you think of the shirt?" He says, "Oh, my wife thought it was too tight and said for me to take it back." I'm like, bro, what the fuck has happened to you, man? You seriously are allowing your wife to tell you what you should fucking wear? How pathetic is that? And that's my point. No critics. When you're single, you do not have to have a critic in your life. You don't need a critic in your life, let alone want one. And so I buy whatever the fuck shirt I want, whether it's this type of shirt, a silky one, a non, whatever. No critics. That's number 3. Number 4, fearless. Men stay married because out of fear of the financial consequences, out of fear because of what's going to happen with the children. Fear of this. What's going to happen to this and this and this. There's none of that when you're single. You run your own ship, you run your own life. You don't have to make any decisions based on fear or stay in situations based on fear because you're running solo. So that's number 4. Number 5, your lifestyle, right? I DJ for fun, and I have dangerous hobbies, right? I ride an electric scooter, the ones you can rent, but I'm standing on it. This thing is a Hellcat. I can go 90 miles an hour. It's fucking awesome. And I'm not going to have anyone telling me that I shouldn't DJ on a Friday night because I've got this gig, or a Saturday night because, well, I want you home. No. Your lifestyle, my lifestyle, I get to do what the hell I want. It is awesome. Okay. So that's number 5. Number 6, your money, right? So I remember one time when I was married and my ex-wife said to me, wow, you use a lot of toilet paper. And I was the breadwinner. And I looked at her and said, well, let me tell you something. This is towards the end. I said, I will use as much toilet paper as I want. You realize this is like $1 a roll? And she didn't say anything. Also, just, sometimes complaining, well, why did you spend $50 on that shirt? Like, this is my point, bro. You have none of that when you're single. You don't have to deal with that shit. So it's your money. You take a trip, you do whatever the fuck you want with it. You want to invest in some Bitcoin? Boom, you invest in some Bitcoin. You want to spend some money on some ads to promote your YouTube channel? You do that. No one's telling you otherwise. So that's amazing about being single. Number 7, pets. Okay. Pets. If you get to choose whether you have a pet in your house or you don't, you get to choose the routine of that pet. You get to choose, does that pet sleep in the bed with you or not sleep in the bed with you? There's none of this, so with my ex-wife, check this out. Shame on me, but this is what happened. We eventually had 4 dogs and 2 budgies, these little birds that won't shut up all day, all night. They were like little like pigeons, not pigeons, little parrots kind of thing. But they're constantly going on all day, all night. It was constant chirping. Not so cute after, 10 hours, 15 hours of this. So on your own, you get to choose what kind of pets, if you have pets, routine and all that. You don't have to share all that and negotiate and compromise, right? Number 8 is that career. You get to move where you want, do what you want, work as many hours as you want. You have nobody bitching in the background saying you work too much or none of that. You get to do anything you want. And actually, this was a deal breaker in my marriage. My ex-wife, she didn't want to move anywhere. I'm originally from Ottawa, Canada. So it's just like an hour and a half drive to Montreal, the French-speaking part of Canada, or 5 hours to Toronto. So Ottawa is like more northeast of Toronto. And the thing is, you better be bilingual in my home city, or good luck having any senior roles. And I don't speak French. So shame on me for that, because I grew up in the city, but I don't speak French. It is what it is. So then I was like, okay, I need to make some career changes, and I'm very ambitious. And so it was either moving to Toronto or moving to Vancouver. And she didn't want to move there. And then I got this job that I have now in Atlanta. And they said, look, we want you in Atlanta. She didn't want to move to Atlanta. And I thought, that's it, man. I've had enough of this. We had a lot of issues, but I was like, I want to call the shots. I'm going to call the shots in my life. And that's number 8 is your career. You do what the fuck you want, when you want, live where you want, anything you want, right? Nobody telling you anything otherwise. So number 9 is travel. Travel, again, you get to travel whenever you want, for as long as you want, where you want. Nobody trying to babysit you. Nobody trying to tell you and give you these terms and why you shouldn't do this or do that. So, right? So that's number 9. And then number 10 ultimately is self-esteem. right? I have seen and met so many men with beaten down confidence, low self esteem because they're in this shitty marriage. They've been married for probably too long, and their wife leads the household and leads them. It is pathetic and it's sad. And I'm sorry, guys, for those that are watching, you're in this situation. It's pathetic and sad when the wife is leading you and ruling over you and telling you what to fucking do. So I got sick of that. And that's another reason why I ended up leaving my marriage, because I was like, now as a single guy, that's why I wanted to do this video. It is way better, bro. It's worth the price to leave that shit. Worth the price for your freedom. And just the last thing about freedom is there are people that have said your own life is worth more, is worth it for freedom. To sacrifice your life for freedom. Not promoting that, but I'm saying that's the extreme of it. That's how important freedom is, that people were willing to give of their life for freedom. So how much are people willing to pay for that freedom? And I'll leave you this as one last thing, just to think about this, okay? If somebody is going to jail no matter what for the crimes that they've done, and the judge says you're going to go to jail for 25 years, then your lawyer comes back to you. So let's say you're the one that's going to go to jail for 25 years. Your lawyer comes back to you after the judgment and says, look, I might be able to work out a plea bargain and get you less time. And of course, you're interested to hear this proposal. And they said, look, I can get you out. Instead of you serving 25 years, I can have you only serve 5 years. It still sucks. You got to serve some time, but it is what it is. Your crimes deserve 25, but you can get out in 5 years. The catch is that you have to pay $250,000 in a fine. $250,000 that may take you 10, 15, 20 years to pay off. So what do? Do you go and serve a 25-year sentence in jail, or serve only 5 years and pay $250,000 in fines and be basically economically broke, let's just say, versus go to jail, pay no fine, but you're in jail for 25 years. Every single person would choose the 5-year deal and be broke and pay the 250 grand for their freedom. This is what I'm talking about. My point is, bro, if you're in a shitty marriage and in a shitty relationship, pay the fucking price for your freedom. It's worth it. It's worth it for you, your mind, your body, your soul, everything. And so I choose to be single for these reasons. Maybe something will happen in the future. I'll meet an amazing woman. I don't know. But for now, I love my freedom. I love being single. I don't care what any one woman says and says, well, you're obviously not that high of a value man, or you'd be taken by now. You know what? I don't want to be in that situation, because what happens is over time, the woman starts telling you what to do, and you have to start making compromises, and now you don't have any freedom. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and we'll see you next time.